Greetings! My name is Dwayne, and I make gnomes. And for most of my gnomes, I always have to post that they're not a toy. Well, I wanted to do something for my granddaughters. I wanted to come up with something that my granddaughters could actually have as a gnome toy. So I created the Quilted Gnome Doll. And what I did was I used actually quilted material. I wanted to have something fun. I wanted to have something that was colorful and I can make my pattern just quickly out of and everything, so I can make a doll that my granddaughters could play with. So I'm going to show you here how I made my gnome doll. I kept with soft pieces, so I didn't have the hard wooden balls. I'm not adding the accessories to them or anything, but just a simple doll that I can give my granddaughters to play with when they do come over. So I cut out my pattern here. We're going to put you aside for a moment. Then I got my two body parts on my quilt here. I flip them over so I put my inside in there. And all I'm going to do is just sew right up the side here, sew up the other side, and then just sew the middle part here, the crotch area here for my legs. Once I get that sewed, just needle and thread, or you can glue, but I prefer to sew along the sides there. And then I'll turn it inside out. So I have this on the outside here. And this is what it comes out to once I turn it inside out. And the fun thing is with the quilting material there, you can see I got different patterns there. I want the color. I want to have fun with it. So I've cut out that. I've sewed up my sides, turned it inside out, and I can use whichever side I want for my front or my back. Again, whichever colors I want within here. Now what I need to do is to stuff my body. Made the body simple there so I could stuff it, but I want to make sure I get the stuffing down into my legs here too. So let me grab some polyfill here and stuff it real well. I want this to be something that holds up for a long time, something that the kids can play with and not have to worry about it. And that's it. I want to get the stuffing, make sure I get my stuffing down into each leg there. This is also not a gnome that's just going to be sitting on a shelf. So many of my gnomes I make, they have either a base to them or legs. You're putting weight down in the bottom here. No, I want something soft. I want something that the kids can actually just grab a hold of and play. Kids come over, look at the dolls and the toys, the gnomes that I have, and they always want to see what Grandpa's doing. Well, this time I can give them something that they themselves can go home with or play or while they're here. So once I have my body stuffed, I'm going to sew the top together there. And simply just take needle and thread, and of course, you can always glue it too. This is actually going to be, the top part's going to be underneath the hat, so it'd be easy just to glue that shut too. I'm just going to sew across here. And once we have that done, we're going to add our beard to it. Cut you off there. All right. I've included the beard on the pattern there too. So we've cut out our beard, always cutting against the back side there. I'm going to glue that about a ½ inch down from the top there. Apply some glue on there. So that quickly, we got our body, our beard, nice soft gnome there. Like I said, about a ½ inch down from the top there. My arms, cut them out. They're again a little bit wider than my normal gnomes that I have as far as standing up gnomes, just because I want to have a little bit of fluff to them and everything. Cut them out. Simply, I'm just going to fold that over so it's on the inside. Hardest part's always just turning the inside out. And we're just going to sew right up the side there. So let me grab one here that I've already just sewed, turn inside out. And then I'm going to pick one side to be my top, because that's going to be the one that I'm going to attach next to my beard there. And I'm just going to put a little dab of glue inside so I can pinch it shut. And then once again, we're going to fill with polyfill. Just going to take my stuffing, stuff it in there. Let me grab some that I already got stuffed here. And now that I got them pinched off at the top, glued there, I'm just going to glue them to the side of the beard there. Again, we're coming down about 1/2 inch. I'm not putting too much glue, but enough to cover the whole arm there. Plus the hat is going to come down and cover just where it meets there. So I'm going to glue my arms just on the side of the beard. And one of the things I really like about these is that it's just got so much color. Kids tend to go for that, and that's one thing about our gnomes too. We try to put so much character into them, and they see that, and they want to come over and play with them. So I wanted to make something that again was soft, was something that I didn't have to worry about them getting into, something that's going to break or hurt them. Again, what I'm looking for is my seam on the back of my arm, because I want that facing towards the inside of my gnome. I'm going to glue that right on there. And if you've seen any of my other videos, it's pretty much the same thing. Once I get the beard on there, I'm gluing the arms right to the side of my beard. So here we have our gnome body with arms. And then I do the same thing. I've cut out my pattern for my hat. I'll place it so that the side I want out is on the inside, because I'm going to be turning it inside out. And I'm just going to sew all the way around here, leaving the bottom open here so I can again turn it. Let's see if I got one here. Yeah, so I do one that's sewn up all along the sides here, and I'm just going to turn it inside out. So I'm going to poke it through here. And then again, see whichever side I want to play with for the front of it. It's going to give me so much color both ways. We're going to pull you out here. Careful there. And I did, for the pattern, I actually put 2 different hats on the pattern here. I like this, just the gnome hat, but I also have designed the hat that has the nice curve to it too. So either one, just for fun, or even do both, just to have a couple sitting around. You'll also notice, I want to pick this out here right now, with this material, you do get a lot of this fraying on it here. Well, I'm going to show you here in just a moment how I take care of that, because I don't want to have this loose straggler stuff hanging out here too. So we'll go over that in just one moment here too, once I get my hat here for you. And we're going to take our polyfill, stuff that up in there. Some good stuffing. And then our hat is going to go right over top of our arms and our beard. I'm trying to decide which side. Which side do I like to have go up front? I think I'm going to pick this side. I like the red going with the red there, the green, just a nice straight across there. So we'll do that side for the front of it. And I always start gluing along the back. Make sure I've got my position there. And my glue, I'll put just above the arms there, going across. To glue that down. And then add my hat. And then once we get the hat on the back side, we'll glue around the front. And let me grab another one we've got going on here, just so we get the glue to dry on there. As I said, now I've picked up the front, and again, I'll glue right along the top of the beard there, so I can glue that down. Now what I wanted to do was add the hands. Here's normally where I add the wood balls, but I wanted to have something soft that I could use. What I did was I went out and I bought gloves. These are gloves from Dollar Tree, actually. And I've cut the fingers off to make my hands and to make my feet. And you can get different types of gloves there. The furry, gloves there, the regular ones. For the feet, I've done a couple different gloves here, depending on what I could find, just to come up with different ideas there, but to keeping them soft, not having the wood balls, not having something else that I'm going to have a hard time sewing on or anything like that. And all I've done is taken the fingers and I've cut the fingers off. And I try to cut it more towards the base so I do have some room, because I'm going to be sticking it up into the arm there. And I'm able to open that up a little bit. And we're putting just a little bit of polyfill in there. This gets a little bit of stuffing there to widen it out there. And then here's where, again, you can sew if you want. I sew, either sew this together or a little dab of glue inside. That'll work either way. So I'm going to put a little dab glue on it there. And then just pinch it together. Just make sure you don't have the glue all coming out there, but just a little dab of glue. Or as I said, I could just take my needle and thread and just a couple little stitches through there and pull it tight. All I'm looking to do is close off the stuffing that I have inside there. And what we're going to do is we're just going to stick it right up into our arm there. Open that up. Push my stuffing a little bit down in there. I'm going to put my glue inside the arm. And then where I pinched it off, or I sewed it together, that's what I'm doing as I'm sticking that part up into the arm. And of course, I do it for both sides. And then I do the same thing for the feet. I like the feet to be a dark color. Just seems like it's an actual shoe or foot sock on there. So once we get the hand on there, as I said, I've done that for the other hand, the feet, And then we're left with the nose. Again, I'm not going to do a ball, a wood ball or anything. But before I get my nose on here, like I said earlier, I had these strays that I wanted to fix on here. What I do is I take a piece of felt, and we're going to take probably a red piece. I cut out, it's a 1/4 inch wide, and then in length it's usually about 7-8 inches in length. What I'm doing is actually going to glue this around my hat there. So I'm covering that up and I'm actually sealing that. So I'm not worried about any frays coming out here. And what we're going to do is just put a quick glue on here. And what I found too is I like the dark colors, the dark red, the dark green, the colors that go with the gnome. Whatever the colors the gnome has, if you wanted to try, put a bright orange on there, whatever color you want, because you're going to have different things coming up here with it. And we're going to glue this across here. And I'm going to do that with the arms too. You can see I've already done that with the legs. And what I suggest is when you do that is to start and go around the back first. I did around the front. I put it on and went around the front. And then I ended up with the seam I wasn't too crazy about because it's facing towards the front. I like my seams not to show as much. So if I can do that, if I can glue it on and then run it around the back, around the front, and then to the front there, works so much better. And here I am, so I'm going to have a little bit of seam in the back here, but I'm covering up the other seam around there. And again, this is to keep it from fraying and to give it a better look and hold it together here. So I have a little bit of extra length, of course, here. I'll be able to cut it off when I get to the back. But these are the finishing touches. These are the finishing touches that help out to make your gnome look so much nicer. I'm going to cut you off. Just a little trim there. And as I said, I make these 1.5 inches on my, I'm sorry, not 1.5 inches. I make them a 1/4 inch. Sorry, wrong there. I make it a 1/4 inch. But if you want to make it like a 1/2 inch, or you want to try different sizes, that's fine. I prefer my 1/4 inch. So I make a 1/4 inch there. I'm just going to glue the last part down here. Bring it around. Get my fingers in the glue. All right. And then what I'm going to do too is I'm going to do it to the arms and my legs there. And you could do one solid color if you want, or even with my first guy that I did different colors. Had some fun, did some red, some green, and then alternated. Just to come up with some fun different things here with that. And then, once I have that on there, I'll stick the nose on there. And what I've done is the same thing. I take a finger, I stuff it, and what I do is, since I've glued it shut there, or even if I sewed it, I cut off the excess. I don't want the excess stuff there. And I'll glue that and glue that right on there. I'll give you a little big nose there. All right. And if you've seen, again, any of my other videos, you'll see I've always used wood noses, and I've always been big on having that and then on my beard. But this is fun because now I have something. I have a little gnome doll that I don't mind giving to my little grandchildren and telling them that they can now play with my gnomes. So what I've also done is I've put together a kit. The kit actually comes with the pattern, will come with the fingers for the gloves. I've taken the quilted pattern and actually drawn out the pattern on the quilt. So you'll be able to just cut it right out. You don't have to worry about anything else. It's already on the quilt there. You cut it out and just put it together. Simple as that. A little bit of sewing, a little bit of polyfill, a little bit of gluing, and we come up with a gnome doll for our grandchildren to play with. Thank you. I've enjoyed doing this, and it's something that I enjoy having the kids around, and I've always believed in that we should be teaching our children and working with our children and playing with them at the same time. Thank you.